Welcome to Casa Italiana Zerilli-Marimò. My name is Chiara Basso and I'm the media communication strategist here at Casa. Director Stefano Albertini, unfortunately, is not well, so he's very unhappy not to be here, also because this is a special evening, not only because we are presenting the documentary about Biki, we have two special guests, our friend Grazia D'Annunzio with Simona Segre-Reinach, but also because it's Casa's birthday. We are 35 years old, so we are particularly... Thank you. Thank you so much. And actually, we will have celebration. So stay. So you came for the talk, stay for the cake, because we will have cake and Moscato after the screening, the conversation. So come upstairs to celebrate. So tonight is a pleasure to have the screening of Biki, La donna, rese, divina, Maria Callas, directed by Michele Mally. This documentary transports us into the creative world of Elvira Leonardi Bouyeure, better known as Biki, Puccini's granddaughter, and one of the most influential couturière of the 20th century. Through her vision and her profound friendship with Maria Callas, Biki helped craft the unforgettable style and aura that shaped the soprano's public persona. We're especially honored to have with us Simona Segre-Reinach, cultural anthropologist and professor of fashion studies at the University of Bologna, a pioneering scholar in the field of Italian and global fashion. She has written extensively on the intersections of fashion, identity, and cultural production. She is the author of several influential books and is currently working on the first monograph dedicated to designer Romeo Gigli. Her expertise offers a unique lens through which to appreciate both Biki's legacy and the broader history of Italian style. She, of course, wrote a book about Biki that she presented online during the pandemic here for Casa Italiana. The conversation is part of the series Addressing Style and will be moderated by the creator of the series, Grazia D'Annunzio, long-time journalist, fashion editor, and lecturer. Grazia spent many years at Vogue Italia as a correspondent from the US, where she helped shape the way Italian fashion is understood and represented internationally. She's a treasured collaborator of Casa Italiana and a brilliant interpreter of the ties between fashion, culture, and storytelling. On our website, you can find Grazia web series, Italian Fashion from A to Z. And on December 2nd, we will have Grazia again here for another episode of Addressing Style with costume designer Eva Cohen. We will talk about Rosa Genoni and the early Italian divas. Rosa Genoni was not only a stylist, but she was also a feminist and a social reformer. Last but not least, as I said, come upstairs for the cake later. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And thank you to Professoressa Simona Segre, who finally came to New York to present this documentary. She was online during the pandemic to present the book, the first scholarly publication that was done on about this amazing couturière. I'm going to be very, very brief because, you know, the documentary spoke for itself. But I would like to ask Professor Segre three interesting, for me, questions. First is how and why you became fascinated with Biki.
Thank you, Grazia, and thank you for this invitation. And to Casa Italiana, I'm very happy to be here. So thank you so much. I started working on the women who made Italian fashion, and suddenly, of course, Biki was one of the most relevant and interesting because she has such a long career. She was born in 1906 and she died in 1999. So really she started in the 30s with D'Annunzio, as you have seen, with this kind of atmosphere, and she ended up with the pret-a-porter of the fashion designers. Then the second thing is that I had the chance to work, to have first-hand material to work on the Biki archive that was given to me by one of the grandsons of Biki and is now deposited at University Statale of Milano, where Grazia teaches. Yes. And so it was really fantastic to being able to work on this material.
Of course. Okay, here you have the cover of the book that Simona Segre wrote.
Yes. You won't find it anywhere. So
Yes, you can find it. No, you can find it in English, actually, and in Italian, and it's published by Rizzoli Publication. So another question is that I found Biki very, very innovative in a way, because she was in the early 60s one of the first couturière who decided also to go to the mass market, and she signed a special deal with Collezioni Rivetti, who was a manufacturer from Turin, and Collezioni Cori, Gruppo Finanziario Tessile, had this line, mass market line for women called Cori, Collezioni Rivetti, and Biki designed for 6 years from 1960 to 1966 a special collection called Cori Biki. So can you tell us a little bit about this very interesting aspect of her career?
Yes, this is interesting because she was really a businesswoman and an entrepreneur beforehand, and she realized how important was to enlarge the market. So we generally speak about her role with Maria Callas, and of course these are the most important things. But she also did a lot of business, made a lot of business with other initiatives like the one you mentioned, and also she was the first one to sign a joint venture in Japan, and also to start then this didn't succeed completely, but she also started a cosmetic line with Elizabeth Arden in the US. So she was quite
ahead of her time.
Of the time. Yes.
And speaking about Elizabeth Arden, who was notoriously based in New York, I know that Biki really, really loved this city, and she was, enamored of the Big Apple. So, can you tell us some anecdotes about it?
Because in the film there isn't this bit, but it's so interesting because she arrived in New York for the first time in 1952. For the first Paris in April ball, invited by her friend Elsa Maxwell.
The gossip writer, gossip journalist.
And she was totally fascinated by the city, and she was interviewed at the radio, and she said, 3 things are really important in this city. The city lights, that is the lights in the city, that is like being in a fairy tale, she said. Second, the fact that women can age very well, and they know how to age. And this, at the time in Italy, it was really different because you were old at 30. So even in Milan,
they considered old when they were in the 40s, in the 50s in Italy.
She was really stuck by these beautiful women in the street. And the third thing was where the windows of the stores that they said the best beautiful, the most beautiful in the world. So, and then she kept a diary from the Gladstone. She was at the Gladstone Hotel, writing all the people that she interviewed. She was frantic, walking around town, and she met Dorothy Wallace, Rita Hayworth, and many others. And this is all written in her diary.
And she was sold right here in New York. She made some deals with department stores.
Yes, but not in 1952. Then after she made a lot of and then after 55 she came twice a year in the US, in New York, and also in other cities.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Thank you, all of you, for being here. And now let's go and celebrate the 35th anniversary of Casa Italiana.